Hello and welcome to the BMC Quick Course series. My name is Peter Plewka and I'm a software consultant based in Vienna, Austria. This is a getting started session for BMC SQL Performance for DB2, a complete SQL monitoring and quality assurance solution. BMC SQL Performance for DB2 solves application performance problems by monitoring and quickly identifying the most expensive SQL statements. It provides access path analysis, recommendations, and easy-to-use tuning tools so that you can quickly and easily pinpoint resource-consuming SQL statements without executing a DB2 SQL trace. With SQL Performance, you can compare whole SQL workloads within the same system or across systems to identify what impact access path changes will have before you implement the changes in production. And last but not least, it helps you to avoid application performance problems by ensuring the quality of once tuned SQL. All of these features and more ensure that your DB2 applications perform optimally and efficiently. BMC SQL Performance for DB2 consists of two base products and exclusive Performance Advisor technology, which is available only with a license for the SQL Performance for DB2 solution. AppTune for DB2 monitors SQL and identifies tuning candidates. SQL Explorer provides tuning recommendations for static SQL and provides a batch interface to ensure the quality of SQL during the bind process. Performance Advisors enable you to compare SQL workloads and prevent problems before you move applications into production, optimize your DB2 indexes, manage exceptions, and avoid unnecessary reorgs. Let's take a look at the architecture of the solution. The DBC started task collects SQL accounting and object data, summarizes it into user-defined intervals, and stores it in log set datasets for historical analysis. The DBC eliminates the need for expensive SQL traces by retrieving data directly from DB2 control blocks. It runs on each LPAR you have a DB2 system to monitor. From a single session, you can see all the DB2 subsystems defined to the data collector across multiple LPARs. Optionally, you can archive the log set datasets for long-term analysis using batch reporting. The SQL Performance main menu provides access to all of the components. Let's start by looking at AppTune. The AppTune and Index component main menu provides access to performance data within the dynamic SQL cache, a real-time view of all active threads per DB2 subsystem, and the explain interface. The main function is the SQL workload reporting of AppTune. Here you can quickly identify tuning candidates in real time or from historical data. SQL Explorer facilitates static SQL development, analysis and tuning, online and in batch. The batch capability is helpful when you are analyzing a group of plans or packages with many SQL statements. For example, if you need to tune an application with thousands of SQL statements, a batch analysis can help pinpoint where you need to focus your efforts. Also, you can implement the SQL Explorer batch explain into your compile, link, bind procedures to get warned when access paths change due to a bind. The SQL Explorer edit macro allows you to execute and explain newly written SQL from your source code in your ISPF edit session. To prepare a test environment, SQL Explorer can migrate DB2 catalog statistics from one subsystem to another in order to create meaningful explain results on your test or development system. The SQL Explorer explain function annotates the plan table with easy-to-read notes and rules for standardization, including suggestions for better performance based on the SQL statement, bind options, and physical state of the objects. You can perform what-if scenarios to see if changing the SQL statement could improve access path selection. You can compare versions of access paths over time to better understand the impact of a change to your SQL. Additional development aids like the declarations generator or the DBRM load compare complement the wide range of functions of SQL Explorer. When you purchase a license for BMC SQL Performance for DB2, you have full access to the Performance Advisor technology. Performance Advisors turn raw performance data into information. As you monitor and tune SQL statements, BMC SQL Performance for DB2 retains statistics in the Performance Advisor database, or PADB. You can get valuable information from the PADB through the Performance Advisors. Let's take a brief look at each Performance Advisor, and for more information, see the detailed quick courses on each advisor. From the SQL Performance for DB2 main menu, you can access all advisors from the Performance Advisors main menu. We will start with the Workload Compare Advisor. The Workload Compare Advisor allows you to define a set of SQL statements to analyze for access path changes within or between DB2 systems. This capability can be particularly effective when migrating a new version of an application from one system to another. For example, when moving from test to production, to identify performance degradation of new or changed SQL before this SQL is bound into production. The object set lets you identify the workload you want to work with, the plans, packages, DBRMs, and collection IDs that are to be compared. The extract batch process takes input from several sources, including the DB2 catalog, DBRM libs, and AppTune trace datasets, and the resulting SQL source is explained. You can then explain the same SQL source on another DB2 system, and the resultant access paths are stored away in datasets for later comparison. The Compare and Report batch step highlights differences in the access path, catalog statistics, cost factor, and index design. You can compare static and dynamic SQL. The Workload Index Advisor complements the Workload Compare Advisor, but is also very valuable when used standalone. The reporting part within AppTune provides data collection of index access ratios. Table and index reports provide get page volume or index usage ratios and quick access to listings of how SQL statements access which table or index column. Workload Index Advisor improves SQL performance by recommending new indexes and by showing which indexes are not being used. It runs as a simple two-step batch workflow. First, define an object set to represent a list of different SQL sources. These sources can be static or dynamic SQL, coming from the DB2 catalog or even the dynamic statement cache. All combinations are possible so that you can represent complex applications within one object set. You can also reuse the object set you have defined for the Workload Compare Advisor before. The object set is again input to the first step, the extract. Similar to the Compare Advisor, this step creates the SQL text output file. The recomIndex step is executed. It reads the SQL text file, runs an explain on all statements, writes additional output files to store access path and object statistics information, and then analyzes the explain output to recommend additional virtual indexes to be inserted into the DSN_virtual_indexes table provided by DB2. A second explain on the same set of statements now considers these recommended virtual indexes as possible real indexes alongside those already existing in the DB2 catalog. Finally, you can view a comprehensive report by DB2 table to see the index recommendations. The reorg advisor helps you determine whether a reorganization could improve performance. The reorg advisor identifies potential candidate objects for reorganization based on the level of disorganization of the object and the level of performance degradation for the object since the last reorganization occurred. To arrive at these recommendations, the reorg advisor uses data from the BMC Performance Advisor database and from real-time statistic tables within DB2. By avoiding unnecessary reorganizations, you will run less reorg jobs, which saves time and money. The Exception Advisor bases its recommendations on observed conditions, so as your workloads and environment changes, the Exception Advisor adjusts accordingly. The Exception Advisor Exceptions report you look at shows the types of exceptions and the reason why it triggered. You can drill down to view additional data such as rules, SQL text, host variables, and objects, or to look at advice and history. Thank you for your time. For more information about any BMC mainframe product, please visit the URL shown here.